Here's one of the problems that my students said they struggled with on the homework last night. So I thought I would go ahead and demonstrate how they can solve it. This is an example of a problem where students are going to have to use inverse operations to isolate the variable to figure out what the value of the variable is. Now, my math practice is going to be all about working with the structure of this equation so that I can isolate that variable. So the first thing I want to do is identify what operation is going on. I have 7y equals 6,909. Now, anytime you have a coefficient and a variable, 7 being our coefficient, y being our variable, anytime we have a situation like this, we know that our operation is going to be multiplied. The inverse of multiplication is division. So when I have 7y and I want to isolate y, I'm going to have to do some division here. Now there's two ways I can divide. I can use a symbol that looks like this, a little division symbol, or I can simply do a fraction and work it out that way because fractions are actually division problems. So I'm going to put the fraction bar here, and I'm going to put a 7 here, and those are going to cancel each other out. That's going to leave me with the variable y all by itself. Now, what I need to do is, since I divided 7y by 7, I need to divide 6,909 also by 7. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, I'm not going to bother doing the standard algorithm. My students, they're well beyond that part. So I'm just going to use my calculator, which is a tool out of my math toolkit. And I'm going to go ahead and figure out what the quotient would be. And when I plug that into my calculator, I get 987. So y equals 987 in this equation. Now, I have my students in here and using my SFA PTM rubric. What score do I deserve, boys and girls? 100. Yeah, I deserve 100. I gave a good math practice. I showed my math process. I have a correct answer. And there's one more thing I want to point out that I'm trying to model, and that's the use of vocabulary. Notice that I did use quite a few vocabulary words that we're using with this. I used inverse operations. I used several. I'm not going to go through all of it now, but when you get up here as the RAM reporter of my students, I want you to be sure that you use appropriate vocabulary.